Hi there, beautiful souls, and welcome back, or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I myself managed to enjoy some quiet time, some downtime, and some fun times. It was a great time to just kind of simply sit and breathe. I will jump over to the question and comment section in just a few moments. I want to talk about what I channeled for the energy for this week. And I'm going to be honest, it gave me a little bit of heartburn. The energy this week has given me some heartburn. It's going to be a week of learning. And one of the things that Spirit said to me during my meditation this morning is have a think on what am I learning and how do I feel about the lessons. This week is going to be bringing us into some ending of cycles. It feels like things that need to float away, things we need to separate ourselves from, things that we need to let go are coming up. And, being able to sit and process and reflect, letting go is a hard thing for many of us to do. What's in my control and what isn't in my control? What am I learning here? Spirit shows us so much in the lessons that we're learning and the things that are coming up, the words that are said to us, the feelings that we receive, our own intuition. What am I learning and how do I feel about it? And being able to kind of give yourself some time to process that. I also feel a lot of, challenges with other people and communication is always a tough one. It comes up quite often when I'm channeling, but being able to think before we speak and kind of process things on how we feel about things before we express it, giving ourselves that practice of the pause. I think sometimes we need a 24-hour rule. I think I'm just going to sit back here and process that and get back to you tomorrow on my thoughts and my feelings. There's an own up and level up. Own up and level up was what Spirit gave me. Being able to own it, being able to say, okay, I got to own this. It's time to learn it. It's been coming up a lot for me. And those learning experiences are going to bring us to our next level in our spiritual growth. The things that we struggle with do have a level up feeling once we kind of figure it out. And once we kind of say, okay, I'm learning that, I can see the repeat lesson. So what repeat lessons are coming up for you? What keeps resurfacing and resurfacing and resurfacing? There's a lesson in it. And it just takes us a moment or two to sit back and kind of lean into it and say, okay, this keeps coming up. I gotta own up. I gotta own up and take a look, and it will bring us to a level up kind of space. We struggle with the hard stuff, right? When it's easy, it's easy. But when the energy comes at us with a heartburn kind of feeling, we try to avoid seeing it. We kind of avoid looking at it. When we kind of avoid kind of, and I don't want to deal with that right now. We're being asked to kind of like sit back, have a look. What lessons am I gaining from this? And just simply reminding yourself to being soft with your learning. I'm learning this right now and I'm learning it. And it's taken me a little bit to get the lesson, but I'm learning it right now. We also have a very interesting full moon coming in on the 10th. It is a full moon in Capricorn. I am a full moon fan. I love the energy of a full moon, but this full moon is bringing us a deeper opportunity to really dig down and really do the releasing work. Full moons are always a great time to release, but there's something about this full moon that is really pushing us to say, okay, you gave that a go, it's not working, let it go. It's time to move forward from this point that you're at, taking the lead, taking the lead on our journey, taking back our power and coming into that space of, okay, I cannot control other people's behaviors or thoughts or things that are going on in the world right now, but I can take control of how I'm responding to it. I can take control over certain things. I can take the leadership. Those of you who are looking for leadership roles, that seems to be served up on a beautiful silver platter. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you tell me next week or in 2 weeks that you've gotten a new job promotion and you've gotten more of a leadership role, or you're taking the lead. And when we own it, when we own our stuff, and we level up, we are taking the lead, we're taking control. I'm also feeling something really picky with social media. There's something that's going to be shifting in the next couple of weeks there. There's the technology seems to be, shifting as part of this as well. So just kind of remember that I said it. I also feel some glitches coming in with media or with technology. There's just something floating there, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But I know for me personally, I always take responsibility for what I'm putting in my energy fields regarding social media. I'm very careful on what I read, what I listen to, what I tap into. That feels extra important to me this next couple weeks. I also want to talk a little bit about the side effects, a little bit of side effects that I feel lack, sleep deprivation, trouble sleeping. I feel some of you are going to experience some achy, some tense, some feelings of tension, achiness and I feel like that is your physical body saying, yeah, you know what, you're right. It's time to let go. There's a big shift coming in this week about acknowledgement and letting go. I also feel like I've got to really talk about the importance of staying in your own lane this week. The whole question, mine, not mine, it will come up a lot for many of you. Is this my stuff or not my stuff? And we can support other people best when we're in our own lane. We can support them when we're not, diving into what's not our stuff and taking it on, because that will also give you that feeling of tired tired, achy, lack of sleep. So just kind of asking yourself, am I involved in stuff that's not my stuff, and I'm leaving my lane for it? Again, it's not about not helping. We help best when we're in our lane, when we're in alignment. We can give other people some guidance and support better from our own lane. It's going to be a great week to keep ourselves grounded. Get yourself out in nature, watching the sky. Just kind of daydreamy a little bit, giving yourself time to process. And I think a lot of this stems into what is going on in the physical world as well. There's a lot going on, like a lot. And there's a heavy with it. And I think that for some of us, we're not giving ourselves a big enough break from all of that. So giving yourself a break from reading news feeds or giving yourself a break from the vibration of worry, I think it's going to be very symbolic this week, because I literally had that heartburn feeling with the energy this week. So I myself, what will I do? I will turn up my spiritual practices. I will, even tighten up even more whatever I'm reading or whatever's coming my way. Even the radio, my vehicle, I may switch it over to what's on my playlist, which is meditation music. I feel it quite important for myself to really kind of pull into that spiritual side, the energetic side versus the physical world and all of its crap right now, because it can take us down in our energy levels. Look after yourself, I guess, is the Cole's Notes version of the energy update. Make sure that you're giving yourself on that feeling. I also want to talk about the energy of feeling stuck. There's that stuck feeling of not going forward, no change, whether it be in your personal life or in the world stage. There's this stuck feeling. I do feel like we're coming into some end of cycles with that. I just feel like things are coming into a different alignment with that. Just kind of remember that I said it. I don't always understand every single thing that I channel. I just channel it and trust it. Is kind of where I go. So I do feel, again, there, I want to repeat it. There's an own it, own up. Okay, I got to change that, and there's a level up following it. And that feeling of stuck, many of you, if you're feeling stuck, you're not truly stuck. It is a vibration that we're leaning into, because whenever you feel that, stand up, move your feet. You're not stuck. You're just in this space right now where things seem to be moving slower or not at all. And it's time to add a little bit of your own recipe of energy to that. What am I learning? What am I learning? And how do I feel? The lessons will click this week. We are ending some cycles. I hope that resonated there with some of you. I'm going to grab a couple of questions here before I've got to head off for work. So I'm just going to move my meditation notes over here and grab my mouse and scroll back up to the top. Good to see so many of you joining me this morning. I'm always so grateful to have you sit with me. I look forward to my Monday mornings with you guys so much. Kelsey, good morning, Lana. Any messages from my spirit guides? Also, my grandma passed away June 9th. Wondering if there's any messages for her. Kelsey, I feel number one, um not just your grandmother, but your spirit guides in general are trying to lighten the load. Like that, I just feel like they're just trying to lighten things up, lighten you up, lighten. There's a light energy that they're trying to kind of get you to lean into a little bit more. Just spending some time feeling that. I also feel them very close always, not just recently, but very close always with you. Never alone is one thing that I need to say to you, and that you are doing the best that you can. And I feel like I just got to say, lean into lighter things, lighter thoughts, lighter energy, lighter vibration, lighten it up a little bit. Put down put down what you don't have to get done today. So whether that be the laundry or any kind of chore or anything, just kind of like lighten that up today and give yourself some free time to just simply be, and whatever that means to you, whatever brings you joy. I feel, Kelsey, that I need to kind of like lean into that a bit more today. Good to see all you guys. You look at you guys. Kayla, hi, Lana, any messages for me? I'm really not enjoying my job, feeling frustrated. Kayla, I feel like I have to come back into. I'm just going to grab my sheets again because Spirit just brought my spiritual highlighter over. Releasing, releasing. Perhaps things aren't going exactly how you thought. Opening the doors of what needs to change here. I also feel that you've been pushing against resistance. So coming back into, okay, what am I learning here? And how do I feel about it? Kayla, asking yourself, how do I truly feel about everything that's floating around? And you have the power to shift and change that. Kayla, I also feel like I need to say, you're going to land where you need to, but you're going to have to move your feet a little bit. So I feel like, if you're not happy, that's an indication of something that I'm learning. You may have had a big expectation this was going to go a certain way, and it's taking you into a different direction, and that's okay. And I feel like either you're looking at this as lack of success, or I've done something wrong, or I'm not good enough for this job. It has nothing to do with that. It's actually a stepping stone to bring you into where you're in your next space and placement will be. And that brings in a lot of uncertainty. Kayla, I can feel you gasp. I just felt that gasp. It can bring you into some uncertainty there. And with the go with the flow and moving your feet, and it will bring you into a level up. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't anything that you did wrong. It's literally a stepping stone into the right direction. It's kind of like I had to go this way and then this way in order to get here. So I just feel like I have to say, just follow the stepping stones, Kayla. Where is this trying to take you? Big hugs to you, Kayla, and I hope you found that helpful. Painted Gray, good morning. The Spirit have a message about me. I hope all is well. Painted Gray, I literally just seen several doors opening around you. So I'm curious, Painted Gray, if you've been kind of looking for opportunities or looking for something new, because I just literally seen like all these doors fly open. And with open doors, we also have to be you participate in the energy of open doors, and just kind of tasting new things, peeking your head out, trying something new. And if you're not quite sure what this is yet, just kind of get in alignment with trying something new, whether it be a new book or a new food or a new path to walk on. It doesn't have to be the great big huge things, but I feel like you've been working really hard on this opening, and I feel like those doors are flying open. So well done there. That's pretty exciting. 10 or sorry, Tia. Hey Lana, is the thing I'm worrying about going to end up good or bad? I feel a bit of a mix there, Tia. I don't feel it a bad. I feel it more as a learning. So I feel like that learning is going to bring you into something very delicious and good. But it does have this taking a deep look to it. It's funny how some of your questions are leaning into, what I already channeled. Taking a good look at it, and how do I feel? Does something need to go, Tia? Does something need to step back? Does something need to be released in order to get to the good part? When this is kind of funny, the Spirit showing me a bag of jujubes. When you got a bag of jujubes, and your favorite maybe the red ones, and they're at the bottom of the bag, and you may have to eat a couple of the yellow ones that are not your favorite. I feel like it's like, okay, what needs to go in order for me to get to the good part, to get to my favorite part, to get to what's delicious. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It means that Spirit is showing you something that needs to go. And sometimes, when we just kind of flip our perspective a little bit, what is Spirit trying to show me here? And I hit that pause button several times a day. Okay, this has come up for me the last little bit now. What am I missing here? What am I missing, and how do I feel about it? Rather that be people, friends, family, jobs, your own self, your spiritual growth. What's this trying to teach me? When things don't go our way, we do go into a lot of resistance, right? We could go into, this is never going to work out for me, and all the things that we say to ourselves. Spirit will say to me, trying to teach you something so that you can kind of like step up and step out of what's coming for you next. What's the next part. Some things are trying to end, and we hold on and we cling, because as humans we don't like change and we don't like endings, right? For the most part, we don't. We have a hard time with that releasing. Full moons again are always a great time to release. This full moon coming up on the 10th, it's a full moon in Capricorn. It has a superpower to me. I just feel like it's a big, powerful release that's going to kind of propel us into a forward momentum when we get out of the resistance. Shaz, do you see any public recognition or visibility in the future? Will I be famous? Shaz, I think the word famous is something that you kind of have to look at. Number one, I feel you already are. And I feel like it doesn't have to be, on a big public stage of recognition. I feel like you're already getting recognized. And I feel like in order to turn up the volume of recognition, you've got to kind of recognize yourself. And you've got to kind of feel your own worth and your own sense of visibility. You already are seen. Like, if you're struggling to if you're not feeling that seen, I feel like I need to say you need to see yourself. How do you see yourself? Does it matter? And I hear you on this one, Shaz, very loudly. It doesn't really matter what other people think. You know, you need to see yourself first, and you need to kind of look at it. Whatever I'm doing, if one person gets benefit from that, then that is such a beautiful visibility and recognition. If I can help one person, if one person, but how do you see yourself? I keep getting pointed back to you. You've got to start seeing yourself and recognizing yourself and acknowledging yourself. And I feel like that will give momentum. I also feel that if you say, well, I don't really see myself and I don't feel like I'm getting recognized, start recognizing yourself. I also feel like I need to say, Shaz, and I know you know this, and we all know this. Not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone is gonna see your value or see your worth, but you can't put energy into that. Not everybody has to. Not everybody has to. And that's one that I had to work through. I mean, I look at old versions of myself. I was always so worried about what people would think, and I really had to just show up as I am. I'm just gonna show up as I am. Here I am. And it's about helping people and growing together and being in that space of sense of community and not getting into the resistance of the what ifs, right? Take that, Shaz, a little bit, spice it up a little bit with your own energy, and allow yourself to see yourself. Jasmine, what does my spirit team say about will I be able to make it to my job training and workplace today? What does my spirit team say about will I be able to make it to my job training in work? If I said, okay, I had to read that, Jasmine. I wasn't quite understanding the question. That feels more of a physical world space. There are some things Spirit will say that's not ours. I do feel like you're going to land where you need to today. I also feel, Jasmine, that you do also have some control over that. Setting some intentions, clearing the energy without holding yourself back. I also feel like, Jasmine, that I know you didn't ask this question, but Spirit is bringing this up for me to share. Is what are you holding yourself back on? Is it fear? Is it uncertainty? I feel like there's a level up there with you with just kind of shifting those thoughts a little bit and get manifesting. Watch what you're manifesting. Dee Dee, thanks for the reminder. It's hard. It's a hard week. Didi, it's giving me heartburn. I'll say that. But when we get a heads up on what may be coming in, we can kind of shift our alignment, and that's what I do. When I channel stuff that gives me a bit of heartburn, I go into, okay, I better get my learning cap on. I better get into that space with what am I learning? How am I going to learn? Um, Rafaela, I would love to know, what does my spirit team think about my connection with Martin? I feel like that connection with Martin is coming into a shift in growth. And I also feel, I get Rafaela, I feel very excited about your growth mindset. There's something there that you're working on with that headspace, with being able to grow. I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow connections. I'm going to grow connections with my spirit team. I feel like I need to say you're doing a really good job of being open to growth, and that growth, not in just this particular person or energy, but I feel like it's like growth mindset. Good job, you. Jasmine, what do my spirit guides say about life and dream about seeing blood a lot. Jasmine, I feel like this connects to flow. So I'm curious, Jasmine, do you struggle with resistance? Because I feel like it's a connection with flow, with bright, with rejuvenation. I don't feel it connects to anything negative there, but I feel like I need to kind of say, are you in any kind of resistance? Resistance is really hard for us, right? We lean in there with this grip, and I feel like it's more of a flow. And I feel like you've had some other dreams that connect as well with resistance and in holding on too tight and just kind of like loosening a little bit so things can flow. Mandy, my niece's 1 week baby rushed to sick kids. I asked Spirit to keep him safe. Mandy, I'll also send some energy there. And number one, I feel like I'm in the right hand. So the decision to go to sick kids was a very good one. I also feel I don't feel terrible here, Mandy. I don't. Is there a little bit of turbulence and bump? Yes, there is. But do I feel I feel like I just have to surrender a little bit. And I'll continue to send healing light there, but I don't have a panic feeling or that heaviness, Miss Mandy. Please keep us posted, Mandy, and I'm sure everybody here in the chat is also sending some healing to that sweet little child. Aaron, yeah, and the think before you speak bit came already while my husband continues to figure out his major healing journey. Yeah, Aaron, I think it's going to be a big thing this week. I personally didn't experience it, but I did give a little bit of advice, not realizing it was going to come up in the energy update with give yourself time before you respond. Just whether that be verbally or in an email, not everything requires an immediate reaction. And people are on healing journeys. And, I think that, the next couple of years, we're going to be diving even deeper into healing journeys. A lot of people are having their moments where they're processing, where they're healing, where they're figuring it out. And sometimes, when people get raw and are working on their healing, the claws can come out. So, with learning not to respond, with learning to give yourself some space. And I will say to people too, and it's okay to lovingly say this, why don't you think about that and come back to me tomorrow with how you feel? Right? That can be a really easy go-to. And sometimes it really helps to have that script already in your head with, I think that's how I'm going to kind of respond to the hard stuff. Why don't you just think about that and let's regroup tomorrow? Because I mean, even with yourself, how many times have you thought about something and come back to the table and said, you know what, I've given that some thought, and I think I'm going to try it this way. It's a good practice to get into. Um, Jules, good morning, Lana. Any messages from my spirit guides? Jules, take off your socks. I just kind of saw a pair of socks coming off your feet. I feel like the grounding energy. I feel like sure we can all benefit for some grounding, but I feel like I've got to take off my socks and feel the how solid the earth is. Feel how grounded I am. Feel how connected I am. Jules, you're more connected than you give yourself credit for, and I think that taking off your socks is going to kind of help. Just maybe more time outside barefoot. More time with feeling the ground beneath you. I just feel like the foundation is more solid than what you think it is. So take off your socks. That's an interesting one. Take off your socks. Just and if you're not a sock wearer, as I never wear socks until it snows if I can avoid it. But if you can maybe perhaps be more intentional walking bare feet or standing bare feet, feeling the solid beneath you. Jasmine, does my body keep stinging? Okay, does my body keep stinging on the right and left side of my body? Spirit communicating with me. um, Jasmine, I don't feel bad with that, but I feel like if you've got any concerns, obviously see a doctor. Jasmine, I feel like, if it's more of a tingle, I would say it's more of a spirit getting your attention. That tingly or that hair on your arms kind of standing up kind of feeling. Try acknowledging it. When I feel spirit come in, when I get the tingles, I'll say, I know that you're here and thank you for coming. Please, and please guide me or show me. Start with the show me, Jasmine. Show me what the direction I need to go in. Show me what I need to see. Those are huge, huge things that are extremely beneficial. We don't always like what we're going to see, but sometimes we need to see it anyway, right? So there's that aspect to it. Aaron, I'm there with the sleep deprivation and achy. Shy reminded me to let go of what's not mine. I had, oh yeah, but there you go. Um, I think we're in for a week of sleep issues. I didn't sleep great last night either, and but I feel like this week it's going to be peeking its head around with not being able to sleep. A few things that will also help is, yes, the journaling and letting go. Quite often we are releasing when we're in our bedroom. It's nice, a comfy, safe space. So we tend to do some releasing or some thinking. I always cleanse my room, right? Because we do let go in there. So opening a window or lighting a candle, whatever resonates with you, move the energy around. Hi Lana, I'm Sonia. Do my guides have any messages for me? Also, in your last live session, you said that I should stay friends with my male best friend instead of dating him. Can you clarify that? So I feel okay, so when I channel, I never remember the information that I've channeled. The spirit takes me. I feel like I need to try it this way. Try it this way with allowing. I'm going to allow this to see where it goes. I'm going to trust the feelings that both of us have, and I feel like I need to preserve the friendship as well. So I feel like I need to preserve that. So maybe having a conversation with him, being wide open with feelings. I feel like I need to share more first. I don't feel like that it just has to remain friends. Or the friendship needs to stay where it is. I feel like I need to give this time, give this rooting, be very clear with communication. I feel like I've got to communicate more. So there's something there, Sune. How much communication have you had with him around this topic? Laura, thanks for the energy update as always. You're very welcome. I really resonate with looking after yourself and the end of cycle message. I have been feeling a pull to do more self-care and shed the old part of me who believed I didn't deserve love and care. Well done, you. Absolutely letting that go. We're not always taught that. Some of us aren't always taught the self-care. We're taught, we may be taught proper hygiene, but we're not always taught the importance of letting go and the healing work. And we sometimes, some of us get to a crossroads where we've got a lot of deep work to do, a lot of deep work. So I think that giving yourself space, giving that old version of you permission. I also feel like I need to say, with that old part of you, be gentle with that part of you. You were doing the best that you could at the time. You're learning, right? So there's a learning piece to this. Sometimes we can be really hard on our, why didn't I see that, and I was so out of alignment. Look, just be gentle. Yes, I was learning, and it's time, and I'm ready, and it's time to shift into different perspectives. Aaron, Olana can confirm, since I've done things you said already, this that cause literal heartburn. Yes, it does. It can cause heartburn. Maybe Katie. Good morning, everyone. Lana, do you have any messages for me from Spirit regarding my health? I feel like I need to balance both the spiritual world and the medical world. And the medical world maybe just simply um, following their advice or following any guidance. Often we kind of lean one way too far or to the other. It's body, mind, and spirit. So I think like looking after all three in a very balanced way is extremely helpful. I don't feel bad here though, maybe Katie. I feel like I just got to put things into a balance with it. So I'll just use an example here. If there's any medical world, also balancing it with the holistic and the spiritual world. So if I go through anything medical, I balance both worlds. I draw from both. Whether that be osteo or massage, or my own cleansing. Balance while still listening to my health provider. If that's the direction that I'm leaning in, I'm putting it into balance. We need to kind of like balance. It's not one is better than the other. It's about putting it into balance. So can thinking about balance is huge. There's Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. Morning, Lana, and everyone. It's good to see you here, Lindsay. Painted Gray, I'm going to Briarfest this weekend selling my art. I'm also changing my direction with my art. I love that. So Painted Gray, there's the open doors. So there's a lot of open doors there. So, and I love that you're poking your head out, going to a festival and selling your art. That's really sticking your head out there, isn't it? That's really shifting, and you're changing the direction with your art. There's a lot of open doors there. I'm really proud of you, Painted Gray. So well done for you. Painted gray. Once I get back, I want to focus on sculpting and painting illustrations versus painting versus model. Oh, I love that. That is, there you go. There it is. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Lindsay, I've had a lot on my mind. Do my guides have any messages for me? Thanks, Lana. Lindsay, I feel like I've got to tap into what I said earlier about taking advantage of this great big Capricorn full moon. Lindsay, I feel like if you can journal or write down on what needs to be released. And Lindsay, you do a fantastic job at your spiritual practices, by the way. I feel like I need to say that. But I feel like you know, when you can take away a few things that aren't serving you and deal with the rest. I feel like if you can take a look at, just as an example, Lindsay, this is what I feel like I need to say is I'm going to really let go and surrender overthinking. I'm really going to work on that, and I'm going to do something really magical under the full moon. Rather it be a little campfire or just with your notes and giving it back to the universe on overthinking. But I feel like there's some look, taking a look at what you can shift very easily so that you're left with the stuff so you have more room to work on the stuff that needs to be worked on, because I feel like a lot of what's in your mind can be let go, as far as, you know, overthinking or any fear or any anxiety that can be surrendered, you know, with a little bit of ease. I also feel, Lindsay, I have to say, take small bites. So, you know, sometimes when we will take on so much, we'll like fill we'll fill up, you know, and we just take small bites, one bite at a time. Don't worry about timelines. Don't worry about whether or not it's going to work or not work. Taking smaller bites of things. And Lindsay, you are an incredible, incredible energy, and feeling that a little bit, feeling your vibration, feeling your energy, feeling how powerful you are, taking back your own personal power in with that energy. I think will be extremely helpful. And again, I have another take off your socks, Lindsay. A little bit more time grounding. Sometimes we need to turn up our spiritual practices, and sometimes we need to, you know, to work on something. So taking it more of maybe try grounding differently one, you know, every day. I'm just going to try something different every day. You know, figuring sometimes our spiritual practices need to change, and I feel that, Lindsay, if you can just add something with a little bit more fun or a little something else that resonates with you, or trying something new. For me, I flop on the ground whenever whenever opportunity I get. It's like, oh, there's a patch of ground I got to flop on. It really helps me not just ground myself but also release. So I think that if you can come up with something, Lindsay, that's a little bit more grounding, that'll also help. Shaz, wow, that message really hit. I feel like it's all within me. Thank you so much, Lana. You're very welcome. Alexa, good morning. I have had a lot on my mind. I'm wondering if my spirit guides had any advice for me. Alexa, I feel like I have to go back into that. What am I learning? What am I learning here? And I feel like I'm reevaluating. So I'm just curious, Alexa, if you're reevaluating things. I also feel like there's some new direction coming. I feel like there's, you know, almost like a clearing of space. Maybe you have a little bit, things need to shift a little bit, so you have a little bit more time. I feel like I'm doing a little bit of an internal purge. Is kind of how it feels. Some things need to be let go. What is spirit showing me that I need to let go of right now? Having a look at any repeat patterns is really significant. Having a good look at that. Hope you found that helpful. Jasmine, well, is that certain people won't leave there, and thermal job coaches upset them for not showing up there. And also I've been having heartburn too. Yeah, the energy is very heartburn. All right, Mel. Good morning, Lana. There is some changes coming in my friend group. I'm not sure how it will end, how it will impact me. Any guidance from my guides? I don't know how to handle things. All right, so Mel, this is a big one, and I'm probably many people here can kind of lean in. Yeah, this is kind of a tough one. Spirit will always show us in a very loving way when it's time for people or you to go in a different direction, and it's okay. And what often happens, both consciously or subconsciously, sometimes it's subconsciously, things get stirred. Drama may arise. We start seeing things differently. People's behavior start changing, and that's validation that, okay, yeah, I'm feeling that there's a change that needs to come. You know, so I always go to my heart space. I always I always step back very, very lovingly, and I'm okay with whatever reaction I get from people, but I always go very lovingly, and I'm very open and honest. I think I just need a little bit of time. I'm working on my own journey right now. And if people react harshly, I send them love and light anyway. But sometimes, we're shown over and over again. So Mel, my first question is have you been seeing some things that have been kind of like poking up at you with? It's like, yeah. I would just simply start lovingly stepping back. I would also be. I'm very big on honesty. I share my feelings with in this way. I need to go in a different direction right now. My life path is taking me this way. Let's keep in touch or not keep in touch, whatever you feel you need to do. And just wishing people very well. I hope you find your way. Right. And that's kind of how I look at it. I hope they find their way. I'm going to send them light so they can see, find their way. I also feel like not taking responsibility, Mel, when people do kick up dust. People do kick up dust. Mel, I also feel this pull for some time alone. So I know life is busy, kids, work, life, but I also feel if you can give yourself 5 minutes alone would be really significant. I feel a lot of pressure with being pulled in so many different directions all the time, and I don't feel like I'm getting a big enough break from people. It can be too peoply sometimes. Even our own people, even our own families, we can be too peoply from them, right? I think I'm resisting to let go of a negative relationship in my life. Yes, keep ex-friend. There's a lot of friendship stuff coming in here all of a sudden. And cut my in my life. Yes, keep ex-friends of that cut out of my life last year. I feel guilty about it. Oh, the guilt. Jasmine, when we do things in a really loving way, and here's the thing: people may not hear it. People may take it, and people, we can't always help how people take things. But if we, even in the hard stuff, I will come to my heart space to let people go. Whether I'm, and sometimes we're not good for them. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm in the way here of their own learning. Sometimes we're just simply in the way of people learning, right? And sometimes, sometimes it is us. Right? Sometimes it's like, okay, I gotta come over here and figure out my stuff. And it comes back down to how did spirit word that? Um, own it. Own up. Own up. Maybe I'm the one that's not seeing things clearly here. Maybe I just need some time to step back and I think that putting down guilt is huge. When it's time for people to go, and here's the thing. Spirit will always show you. Spirit will always show you, and I always will lean in there with right now I need to step back. I hope our paths cross again. I hope we heal our stuff. I hope you find your way. And there's nothing to feel guilty or bad about when we're doing things from the heart space. And unfortunately people are not always open to feeling that, or perhaps they're just not ready yet to kind of to see it as well. And sometimes we have to be the one to go first. Sometimes we have to be the one to pull the plug, right? But Jasmine, if you're doing it from a loving space, very loving, I always wish people well on their journey when it's time to go in a different direction. I also trust that. I trust it. It may be for them. Maybe we're holding them back, right? Aaron, I could use some words of encouragement. I've been working on manifesting freedom of time and choice, freedom of finances. You told me to try different jobs, but it's hard to find any. Okay, so Aaron, if you can continue to look for different jobs, I would also continue with little thoughts like, okay, the right job's coming. I would turn up the thoughts on that. I would just kind of say, okay, right now there's not many jobs. But I'm gonna keep those doors open. I would also start frolicking in what you do have freedom of. So, for example, Aaron, if you've got 10 minutes to really frolic in being free, having some free time, frolic in it. Like really enjoy it, really feel it. 10 minutes may not feel like a huge amount of time, but it's 10 minutes. Right. So I think that when we kind of take a look at what we can frolic in for shorter periods of time, it will open up. When it comes to freedom of finances, most of us in the physical world right now, unless you're sitting on the higher end with abundance. I think most of us are feeling the financial strains of this physical world, and we have for a couple years, right? Like it's been prices have gone up, wages have not. It's getting harder to find work. We've all kind of felt that. I really lean into my manifesting all the time, not just when, when the finances fluctuate, but I also manifest the abundance of, or lean into what's in abundance around me as well. Yes, I'm grateful for some more finances, but there is so much of this around me. I also have a gold bowl, a manifesting bowl. I have a little area that's my sacred space with a couple coins in it. I acknowledge it every day. I'm grateful for what I do have, all of that, but I also do the exercise of rolling up my sleeve. I can work harder for more, of what I need, I lean into that a lot, and I try really hard, Aaron, to shift out of the mindset of worrying about it. Yes, and awareness and worry is two different things, right? So there, I try to really hard to kind of lean into that energy, and I always ask for new opportunities, and I keep knocking on the doors until they open, and that's one thing, Aaron, that has really helped me. Oh, I gotta watch the time, you guys. Marlene, Lana, I live in a city and they spray poison on the grass. Damn. And where you walk to get rid of dandelions and weeds, and there are ticks. How can I walk barefoot? Okay, so Marlene, take it to this level. Okay, take it indoors. So walking. So you can visualize walking on beautiful green, clean ground in your house, and do a little walking meditation where you're just like walking down the hallway, or standing on the floor, and visualize and just simply telling yourself, I am standing in the most magical forest. Just kind of visualizing that space and connecting to it. Right. I often will do that if I am struggling somewhere, Marlene. Let's say I'm at an event where I can't ground myself outside. I will literally visualize my feet in the water at the beach. I'll just simply tell my feet, you're standing in the water at the beach, and I'll feel the energy. I'll bring it into my awareness. So bring into your awareness. I don't know. I always close my eyes, Marlene. So bring into your awareness, I am standing in a beautiful field of wildflowers, barefoot, right? Or whatever resonates. Or I'm standing on top of a mountain barefoot. I can feel the solid earth beneath me. Take it to a visualization. And I'm really sorry that there you don't have a space there where you can get out barefoot. If you do go out on a little road trip, or when you are on vacation, Marlene, and you're away from those things, really take advantage of it, right? The other thing is you can put something on a TV screen, so you can like YouTube it, images of the mountains, or images of, I did it with my pictures of Ireland. I just look at my pictures of Ireland and I visualize myself still there. Standing there, I'm still there, right? Just kind of bringing that into your awareness, that will help, Marlene. Wendy, does Spirit have any messages for me today, especially with my health? And will it get better? Is what I stumbled across with a certain infection be affecting all the issues I'm having? So, Wendy, I'm, and you don't have to share, but I'm, if you don't want to, but I feel really, really tight and swollen. I feel like a swelling, like inflammation. I feel like I'm really tight, and I feel I just want to read it again. Does Spirit have any message from it? How, and will it get better? I do feel a shift in this, but I feel like there's a missing component to it. So, Wendy, if you're having any inflammation, if you can just give me a yes or a no to the inflammation part, just to help me navigate this a little bit. But I do feel like this is going to come into an improved. And again, I feel like I've got to do a little bit of energy work as well as the medical world. And I do feel that there's a connection there with infection. It's almost like a side effect of, like, I don't feel you have an infection now, but I feel like a side effect of having something. It feels like it affected like I feel quite sore, if that resonates there. Lindsay, I feel like I haven't slept all weekend. Yeah, there it is, Lindsay. It's going to be, yeah, sleep is going to be a bit of a difficult vibration. Diane, Len, Lana, I'm going through something with my house right now. Please, can you see it working out? I do feel it's going to work out, Diane, but I feel like I've got a network with someone for help on that. That makes sense. Wendy, okay. Wendy, does spirit see the infection that I've had for a long time getting my bloodstream affecting me? I'm just gonna wait, Wendy, and see if you can respond there. I love your necklace, Lana. It's so pretty. Thank you. I haven't worn this one in a long time. I'm just waiting for Wendy to respond there. I am going to grab the angel number book, and I'll just wait for that response on the Wendy. Yes, I'm swelling everywhere. There it is, especially my knee. Okay, Wendy, so I just need a little bit of validation for that I was connecting there. I do feel like this is going to subside. I feel it to be a balance of both worlds. It's come up a lot today, right? Medical world and holistic world. So I would definitely, Wendy, continue doing what the medical world is guiding you with, but also if you can do some healing energy work. I also feel, Wendy, I feel like this has stirred up a fear. If you can just acknowledge that, have you had more fearful thoughts coming into your awareness, like like really fearful, almost irrational? Okay, all right. Let's have a number for the week. A number or two would be grateful. 130. Source energy and the ascended masters are working with you to lift your thoughts and energy so that they're centered and loving. Ask 131. Ask the ascended masters for help with whatever you're experiencing or desiring right now to boost your confidence and courage. I want to do another one. I feel pulled to do another one. I think we need 3 angel numbers this week. 290. Your divine life purpose with source energy your divine life purpose is source energy's will, and it is right for you to focus on your time and energy upon your own purposes. Sense of purpose. Anybody struggling with your sense of purpose? All right, let's grab a spirit animal for the week. All right, you guys, let's go. Eel. Others, both male and female, will be increasingly attracted to you. Whoa, there we go. And some of this attraction will be sexual. Take several classes in Kundalini yoga, and continue the practice at home. We've got some flow. That's really interesting. You're going to embark on a spiritual pilgrimage in the near future, will one that will be so profoundly alter your sense of who you are that others may not recognize you. You'll soon get it to the bottom of the question or puzzle that's been bothering you. For some of you having health issues, I wonder if that's connecting to that. You'll soon get to the bottom of the question or puzzle that's been bothering you. Acknowledge and release any emotions that are blocking you. Remember, it doesn't all have to resonate. But it's interesting that last paragraph. Acknowledge and release any emotions that are blocking you. Own up, level up, release work. We talked about it most of the live this morning. How do I get people not to find me attractive? Energy is very attractive. You're, like there, people can be, and here's the thing too. People can be very attracted to your energy, and sometimes they misinterpret that as a physical attraction. That that can be part of it. Aaron, love your inner goddess and shine bright. Wendy, yes, because I don't know what's going on and been seeing doctors for years. Now I just want some answers. Wendy, lean into or have a feel into a little bit of the holistic world. So my question, Wendy, if you're open to, have you seen an osteopath, or Chinese medicine, is another great one, or any holistic practitioner that you resonate with. It's important that you resonate with the practitioner. I think that is huge. And if that doesn't resonate with you, that's perfectly okay, Wendy. I just feel like both worlds can work together, right? I've learned that on my own journey as well. It's both worlds can work together. Guys, I'll see you Friday morning for an Ask the Medium. I hope that you have a great week. What am I learning? What am I learning is going to be my go-to space as the indigestion of the energy comes in this week. What am I learning? How can I let it go? Getting yourself grounded. It's going to be a week energetically for a few of us, maybe not all of us, but for a few of us. As always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided week. Take care, you guys.